we need writers to come up with all these new stories. But you know what's sad is that the writers are all on strike right now, which brings us to our next topic here. Yeah, that was a good segue right there. Writers Guild of America on strike. So this comes to us from Variety. The Writers Guild of America has proposed allowing artificial intelligence to write scripts as long as it does not affect writers' credits or residuals. The Guild had previously indicated that it would propose regulating the use of AI in the writing process, which has recently surfaced as a concern for writers who fear losing out on jobs. But contrary to some expectations, the Guild is not proposing an outright ban on the use of AI technology. Instead, the proposal would allow a writer to use ChatGPT to help write a script without having to share writing credit or divide residuals. Or a studio executive could hand the writer an AI-generated script to rewrite or polish and the writer would still be considered the first writer on the project. Interesting stuff, Raul.
Yeah.
About all these writers. What are your thoughts on all this?
Oh man,
it's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack. But first of all, just in general, AI, you can't go anywhere anymore without hearing something about AI nowadays. You know, AI art, you got ChatGPT, AI voiceover. Oh God. You know, that scares me because us being voiceover artists, you know, we're worried about, just like the writers here in the Writers Guild, we're worried about losing our jobs too. So it's a lot of
there's like AI voiceover that is starting to copy famous voice actors right now. You know, it's kind of crazy.
It's scary. It's very. You can just go on ChatGPT and just prompt and say, write me a movie script about an actual good script about a sequel to Moana. See, Disney, just do that. Just do ChatGPT. It's out there. It's accessible, Disney. Anyway, yeah, you can just prompt and it'll give you, you know, a script. And of course, anytime there's a new tech coming out, you know, somebody's always trying to abuse it. So you got all these kids writing their school papers with ChatGPT. That has actually happened, but it's very interesting. We're getting into this new Wild West with technology and AI, and it is scary. And I totally understand the Writers Guild wanting to make their voices heard about this. So, but this is interesting that they're not proposing a full-on ban, because if we think about it, AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It is with us now, and you can't unring that bell, right? So instead of banning it, which just seems unreasonable, this makes more sense as well. Let's use AI. We can work with AI, but still we get credits for it because and that's what I've heard a lot of people talk about just in general about AI and the future of AI. You know, I've been hearing experts in interviews talk about, well, they ask them like, well, are we going to get replaced? And a lot of people I've heard have said, well, ideally what we want to work towards is, instead of AI replacing us, is now just having us working with AI to do our jobs. And that seems like what the Writers Guild is proposing here is you go on ChatGPT, get them to write a script, and that's your first draft. And then you have a head writer or whatnot, then take that first draft and fix it up and actually give it some panache and, we'll punch up a joke here. We'll make this scene even more dramatic there. And that writer will be considered the first writer on the project. I think that's a great compromise.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
Kevin?
I think you covered all the points there. I mean, I also agree that we got to stick with the times. Listen, technology is going to move whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
We're going to get such advanced stuff in the future, and we just got to work with it. We got to work alongside it. And I'm glad that we're taking the initiative and making laws and rules that say we can't let it control everything about our careers, because we want to be a part of it as much as the robots do, I think if it doesn't work out, the writers are going to be on strike. And I think this also kind of leads me to another point, which is even as voice actors ourselves, there hasn't been that much work lately for audition stuff for animation or video game stuff because a lot of writers are trying to go on strike a little bit, Um, and that's just something that's to be expected. But it does kind of tell you a little bit about what the future of some projects might look like. For example, maybe a lot more writing might be not as good in the next couple of years because currently the people who are trying to write stuff are not here. Also, it could tell you that we might not get good content until years later. I don't know.
For those who remember the writer's strike of '08, that really messed a lot of things up. The second season of Heroes.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that being a big problem. That's anytime I think of the '08 writer strike, that's what I think of. That's the first thing I think of is the second season of Heroes. But that messed up a lot of kind of storytelling and it kind of delayed a lot of those kind of projects for a while.
Yeah. And I think, it just know that us as listeners or movie fans, there's not much we can do about this except just wait it out and see what the writers end up coming up with and what kind of deals and rules they end up making that can help us all coexist with our own art and our robot friends who are going to be joining us whether we like it or not. Our robot overlords. Yes, indeed. But yeah, so I think we do live in a day and age, though, where we still have incredible writers, so that at least we have that. Hopefully, the writers of the AI writers don't take over our life in the future, but